Hello everyone, we are here with Hofer, Secretary of State and Director General of the Swiss Federal Office for Agriculture, who is here as a head of the Swiss delegation for the Food System Pre-Summit. So good afternoon, we're super happy and proud to have you here. And we would like to ask you whether you could introduce yourself and your role and your relation with food and agriculture.
Yeah, thank you very much for that invitation. I really appreciate to be here. Yeah, I'm Christian Hofer. I was born on a farm, and on our farm, my parents, they always educated boys and girls to become farmers. I studied agriculture. I was a teacher in agriculture. I ran a farm for 4 years. Then I was selling farm equipment to farmers as a salesman. I worked in the research, grassland research. Then I worked in the administration, on the federal administration and cantonal administration, in the agricultural policy, but also environmental, fishery, hunting. And now, yes, I'm Director General of the Federal Office of Agriculture, so I saw and was in connection with farmers and the agriculture from different perspectives, yes.
Well, what an experience. Thank you so much for sharing. And we recently heard that the Swiss government just released a 2030 Sustainable Development Strategy with an action plan and some targets. Could you maybe share a bit more on it and how it is going to be somehow leading the path for a transformative change in food system for Switzerland?
Yeah, first of all, if you want to change something, you need a strategy. So we are really very happy that the Federal Council decided such a strategy. The strategy itself, it's cross-ministerial, so it's really an important guidance for different policies, not only the agriculture policy, also environmental policy. And I think that's very important, that if you talk from sustainable development, that you have the different policies that are really in this strategy. If you look at the strategy itself, the transformation of the food system is a very important point. And also there, it's really touches different topics. So there is agriculture, of course, but also public health, veterinary, food safety, foreign affairs, environment. So also there, this transformation of the food system really has a perspective on the whole chain, value chain. A very important thing of the strategy is that there are really defined, quantified goals, and we've seen also in this summit here. That's a thing that impressed a lot of other countries, that we don't only talk about strategies, we also defined these quantitative goals. One was that at least 1/3 of the population follows the official national dietary recommendations. A second goal is that we want to reduce food loss and food waste 50% compared to 2017. There's one goal to reduce 25% of the CO2 emissions from food per capita compared to 2020. And the fourth goal is that we try to increase farms that are producing their food in an extra environmental or animal welfare friendly way to 1/3. And I think that makes it concrete, and that's also a very important point. Now we have really an action plan to 2023. One of these actions is really to continue this national dialogue, that we really can, with this dialogue, make this transformation of the food system with all the different stakeholders concrete, and really follow this discussion. That's maybe the setup of that strategy.
Thank you. So indeed, we of course agree on the importance of having a vision, and of course even better if it is accompanied by an action plan and some concrete targets, and of course we look forward to see them achieved, hopefully in the terms agreed. And maybe regarding this strategy, were the youth involved in its development? And also in our manifesto of Bites of Transformation, we really put forward the importance of intergenerational dialogues and cooperation. Is that something that is taken into account in this strategy?
Yes, I talked about this national dialogue. So there also is the Young Farmer Association is there, and also there is a group, Agriculture Future, that is also a group of young people that was involved in this discussion. And I think that's a very important thing, that you really have the different group of the youth. So you have not a standard youth, and that you also have the different groups of the older and middle generations, and that makes an interesting discussion of this strategy. And I think, if you talk, you have to really include the youth, because talking and then changing takes a lot of time. Then the youth is really talking about their future, and that's an important aspect.
Thank you, yes. And as Bites of Transformation, we were extremely happy and proud to have been part of these dialogues, both at national city dialogues in Switzerland, and we could really witness also a bit of what you just explained. And maybe with all your great experience that you just shared with us, you grew up in a farm, and then of course you had this incredible career. Would you have maybe any suggestion for a group of young people like we are, the Bites of Transformation community, on how can we actually make an impact?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good question. You have to convince others. That's the only point. If you can convince others, then you have an impact. That's our system, our democratic system. If you have more than half of the people on your side, then you have a very big impact. So it's important really to convince people to follow your way. And what are the measures to do that? One is that you let participate different groups. You have to really look where are some leaders, and you have to let participate that on your process, then they are on your side. And I think a second point is the communication, that you can show pictures of your vision, that you have a vision, that you can show what you want to change, and you have to make a perspective for the different partners. If you don't give a perspective to these partners, it's very difficult, because then they are against your ideas. These are maybe 2-3 points. You have a good story, and that's the most important thing. If you want to convince people for an idea, then you have it must be a good idea.
Yes.
I think this fundament is here, so the other points you really have to work on it, I think.
Yeah, we have to. We will, hopefully, successfully. But thank you so much for this insightful suggestion. We will try to make the best out of them. And yes, maybe just a final question. Maybe according to you, what is really the entry point, like the main entry point to start this transformative path to our more sustainable and resilient food systems?
That's a difficult question. I think there is not one entry point. To produce food, to consume food, there's a tradition, a culture behind it. And there's not one entry point and then you change it. So usually such changes, that's the time of a generation. But you have to start, of course. And one entry point are the youth. Because if they are convinced, then they really influence also the other generations, and then you have a movement. And I think that's a very important thing, that you begin to sensibilize the different people about your ideas. And it's also an important thing, in my opinion, that you have really facts and figures that are showing that the way you are, or the ideas that you are promoting are better than the situation at the moment. Not making the situation now bad, but to show that there is are better possibilities or alternatives. And I think that helps really to to change it, to change the behavior, and you need people that are showing how to do it, and this must be a little bit leaders that others are looking on them, and in this process you can really change.
Well, thank you so much, Christian Hofer. It was super lovely talking to you, and thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you very much, and good luck for your vision.
Thank you.
And if we can support it, we help.
We would love to. Thank you so much.
Thank you.